I had a conversation with a guy who was a very serious Christian man for many, many, many years. So this is one part kind of a recognition and a validation of what you guys are saying, because you guys are basically out there saying, look, Christianity, long story short, doesn't protect marriages. And then you guys are saying, well, why would I want to be part of that? Like, why would I want to take my family and my kids into that? Or why would I date a woman who is involved in an organization, true or false, right? That's not even the conversation. The conversation is all around, is it good for families? Is it good for marriages? And when you guys have come down and said, well, no, it's not. Well, I'm not going to that. Like, why would I go to that? I mean, I see what you're saying, and I think it's right. The reason that I got to thinking about this was because, like I said, this man, I was saying, look, man, there's this reason, there's this teaching, there's that teaching, and he knew what I was talking about from the Christian perspective, from the biblical verses. He knew exactly what I was talking about. But the way that he kind of like made sense of everything and why he was encouraging me to just go out and date and get into another marriage was that, and he was in his first marriage. He'd been married for like 40 years. So it wasn't like he was speaking out of like a personal anything. That was just his view. For one part, I think we see two things. One, that married people, they don't have to think about this stuff, They don't really have to go through the verses and take seriously because it doesn't apply to them. And plus, it's like you don't want to judge other people, so why really get involved in the whole controversy, the whole discussion? So I get that, but what I was saying was this guy was, he was pushing back on me, and basically his reasoning was, well, God is gracious. There's grace of God for sinners, and so, people can get divorced, and it basically nullifies all the other teachings that we have in the New Testament by Jesus or by other people, teachers, throughout the New Testament. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Those things, those teachings, they're irrelevant. We can ignore those. And my pushback to Christians who hold that view, and at the same time validating secular people, is that, look, people inside the church, secular people are watching us, and they don't care about our arguments over Greek words. They don't care about translations, about Erasmus. They don't care about the history of how the Catholic Church came to, come up with all these annulments, 25 different reasons why your marriage wasn't actually real in the first place, so go ahead and get into another one. They don't care about that stuff, All they want to care about, and all they're really interested in, is like, are you guys having successful marriages? Is the power of God to love and forgive and to live lives at a higher level, more successful level, is that real? And if it's not, we don't want to come. Like, we don't want to join up. All the other issues aside, which I think everyone has valid doubts, but all those other doubts aside, right? People are just saying, I don't want to come. And so if you're a secular person and you hold that view, I mean, I get it. Because look, why would you be impressed? Why would you be impressed if a bunch of Christians sat around in some councils and came up with a bunch of reasons why, we can get out of our marriages and God is cool with it? Like, people do that all the time without believing in God, right? I mean, divorces are, not a big deal. Divorce rates among secular people, it's like, it's not like a sin against God. But for Christians it is, there's a lot of teachings about it. And so when you see us doing what we're doing and that there's no like difference, there's no improvement, there's no benefit, I totally get why you're saying, yeah, like, I'll pass, thanks, but no thanks. At the same time, for those of you Christians who you really hold this, well, God is just loving and forgiving, it's like, you may think that's a great message and everyone would be really drawn to that, but realize that secular people, they're saying, that's just nonsense. Like, that, who cares? Who cares? We want our families to survive. We want an organization that's going to protect us. Guys are saying, look, we like women, we want to get married, but we'd like to be in an environment where that's ideal. If you're a Christian and you are like goo goo gaga for this whole grace thing, come and live however you want, and the church is cool and God loves you, that may not be music to everyone's ears. This isn't what people really seem to be wanting solutions, but people also want to have, happy, long-lasting marriages. And that's one thing where we're just dropping the ball. Let's just be honest. We're dropping the ball. We're not delivering. People see it, and our excuse is, well, we're a community of grace and forgiveness. At the end of the day, people don't really want it. So, you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to put together a channel. I'm trying to live in such a way where we can turn the trends on these things. I think there is power of God to help people to overcome, past hurts, things from childhood, addictions, job losses, the ideologies that are going around, all the stuff that's anti-family. and I think we can turn it around. Thank you for everyone who's thinking and speaking up about what's going on in marriage and hoping to find solutions. Two, for Christians, if you're married and you've never looked seriously at the divorce and remarriage scriptures, look at it seriously, please, so that you don't say things that are incorrect. And number three, if you're a new believer, if you're a younger believer and you're not that strong in the faith, then my encouragement is you're going to just keep growing and God's going to help you, but really invest in your own faith and in your own spiritual maturity, because there's going to be huge payoffs. And you may be in a space where you just think, well, I've hit a bump in the road in my life or in my marriage and there's no hope and it's game over. That's not true. Okay, that is not true. Do not believe those lies. For more mature Christians, if you've been at the faith for a couple years, then start hanging on to those promises. Realize that there is a fight in this dog, that we have power. God has given us a lot of promises about faith that can move mountains, that we're supposed to stand guard, that we're supposed to be ready for the day of evil that comes upon us, that the struggle that we endure, or the trial that we endure, is no different than what has come to others before us. No trial has come upon you which others have not had to face. Okay, so we know this. The thing is, there's a whole world out there of skeptics, and they think, obviously Christians have no solutions. And that's just not true. If our faith is real, and if God is real at all, and if anything that we claim to believe is true, there are answers. God has spoken to these things. He sees the problem, and He's worked out a solution. Our job is just to get on board with the program, and go after it, Fast and pray, get on our knees, understand what it means to do spiritual warfare, understand that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but God has come that we might have life and have abundant life. And that's the good news. That's the hope that, we claim to have received, and that's what we claim to try to offer to the public at large. I mean, if any and all of that is true, then let's get after it. Let's stop playing these games. Let's be more serious, because there are real solutions and there's real pain. I don't think unbelieving people are crazy for saying, well, I guess heaven and hell, that may be real or it may not, but alimony, divorce court, and divorce trauma and divorce rape and all the trauma that goes with that is 100% real. I guarantee it's real. And so they have legitimate concerns to be afraid about those things. I don't think, what's wrong with them saying, hey, this is a problem. Church, do you have any solutions? And we're like, not really. Sorry. We can do better. We can do better. I know it. So